Please hang up and try again.
All right. Blown
This
Pixel,
is-
episode 2.
There you go. Episode 2. This one should be a little bit better broadcast quality. I feel like maybe we have some real cameras, maybe some real audio.
I feel like last week's Blown Pixel was the pilot, and I think we both agreed that the pilot went stellar, other than some technical issues. So this is Blown Pixel episode 1, but for you early listeners, you'll know it's episode 2.
Yes. Unfortunately, this time I will not have a sleeping bag suit, so I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to top that. So I don't know.
Yeah. We kind of peaked last week. We should quit.
just no more. Okay, so
Pilot
on the
episode
agenda,
and done.
First things first, I'm Cody Beasley. I'm a product designer and engineer, and T-Rave.
I'm T-Rave. I'm a happiness engineer at a startup here in Omaha called Flywheel, which is a managed WordPress hosting company.
All right, there you go. So, T-Rave, I'm in Kansas City. You're in Omaha. What is going on in your neck of the woods, or is there anything going on?
We're kind of de-thawing up here, weather-wise, but it was a few cold days. But outside of that, selfishly, I'll announce that Flywheel is sponsoring an event through Interface School to learn WordPress. Interface School is kind of a extracurricular learning school that you can pay and kind of take classes to kind of brush up on stuff. Kind of like a code school, less invasive. So yeah, that'll be starting, I believe, in March. And so we're sponsoring and kind of teaching classes about WordPress.
Very cool. And is that something that you're doing locally, or is that something online?
Yeah, it's completely Omaha-based. I don't know if it's online. I don't know much about Interface School, but I believe it's all in person here locally in Omaha, Nebraska. So Kansas City, what's happening in Kansas City?
I don't know if there's anything too crazy happening in Kansas City. I suppose I was frequenting Thou Mayest today and, getting busy over there. Great coffee shop, cocktail kind of place. Outside of that, I didn't find anything too crazy going on. I'm sure there's more coming down the line. I've got a couple side projects and some events that'll be coming up, and I'll let you guys know about that when it starts happening.
Very cool. And I think... So I don't know much news about this, and so it's not that great of an announcement / I don't even know if I'm supposed to be talking about it, but we're just going to do it because the CEO put it on her Facebook kind of outwardly. That affects both Omaha and Kansas City, and that is the acquisition or the acquirement of Silicon Prairie News. It originally started. Yeah, you didn't see that, did you?
No. Do you know who's buying them?
Oh, I don't, and I'm, like I said, terrible place to start. But the CEO, she said something on her book. Oh, there it is. SPN acquired by AIM Institutes. I don't know much about AIM, but they are Omaha-based. Silicon Prairie News actually started in Omaha with the CEO of Flywheel now. He was the CEO at Silicon Prairie News. A few years ago, Reagan took over the CEO spot, and then they just announced the acquisition. And I say that because Silicon Prairie News opened a Kansas City office, so it affects both of our cities. It's very close to home for me, as we used to share their office space, and obviously their old CEO is now my CEO. So anyway, congrats to the SPN crew.
Yeah, totally. I love those guys.
Yeah, so if for those that don't know, Big Omaha, Big Kansas City, the big events are brought to you by that, bringing you news about the Silicon Prairie and, news of startups and whatnot. So anyway,
perfect.
That kind of affects both of us. Anyway, let's jump even further in.
Further on, all right, so what's on the agenda? First things first, things that I have. I have a piece of news that I think went around the internet called Send Your Enemies Glitter. Have you heard of this thing?
Yes. Oh, yes. That's fantastic. Continue.
Yeah. So basically what it is it's quite descriptive, obviously. You can send your enemies a envelope I believe a card actually that has a glitter bomb in it. So they open it up, and of course, glitter's everywhere. Glitter's awful. Gets in your eyes. Apparently, go blind. I don't know. And it's a great way to apparently destroy your enemies. I think that I've got a screencast here. Let's see. Entire screen, and there you go. All right, so ship your enemies glitter. We send glitter to the people you hate. Can you see this, T-Rave?
Yeah, I can see that.
Awesome. Yep. Glitter as a service. I love that. We want to piss someone off, then $10 will let you do that. I love the visuals here. It's just everywhere. That's amazing. And then, of course, they have a fun FAQ. I heard that this was such a popular service that they apparently had to delay orders for a while. I don't know what I don't know what the inventory situation looks like for glitter, but it's impressive to me. I feel like I don't know if I could do that.
I love the FAQ. I don't know if you read through it, but
yes,
it's like, what is the service? And it's like, you're an idiot. It's glitter. We send it to your enemy. It's like, why am I, how much is it? And it's like, well, it's $10 Australian, which is like a couple bucks to you, most likely.
Yeah.
So
it's something like, I think it's $8 or $7 or something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I saw that. I thought it was hilarious. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay, so that's what I have on item 1. Do you want to go for yours?
Yeah, definitely. So, Electronic Frontier Foundation launches their mobile app, specifically for Android, and I'll talk about iOS in a second, but EFF, or F, I call it F, but EFF, Electronic Frontier Foundation, is the leading nonprofit organization defending civil liberties in the digital world. Essentially, they are the people that really dig into the bills and stuff going through the government about SOPA, basically things that would affect us as the end user of the internet. And then they actually encourage and set up ways for you to contact your congressmen, congresspeople, and in a very easy way to let them know that you're not happy about it. So they just came out with a mobile app. I saw it through, I got an email. I'm subscribed to their email, so I downloaded it immediately on Android. And actually, I got the first alert today, so that's pretty cool. It was cool to see it on my Moto 360 that I'm kind of flipping through. And it literally flashed, and it's red, and it's it has a cool little EFF logo, but it's are you being tracked? And it goes into this huge thing about Verizon and third-party tracking. Anyway, back to the app. What I found interesting when I was looking for the story to share tonight, that they actually refused to ship it to iOS. And that's because they just couldn't come to an agreement with their terms of service. And they actually laid it out on their site of why, and broke down ban on reverse engineering, app store only, ban on public statements, no tinkering with all these things. And so they've decided to not put it in the app store for iOS, which I felt was they're standing to their morals and principles and what they stand on, and refuse to put it out on it's always arguable, Android to iOS, but a huge platform.
I mean, a lot of developers end up going down, of course, the iOS first route, but it's impressive to see someone stand up to that kind of paradigm. I agree with them. I mean, on a lot of fronts. I love what the EFF is doing, and good job to them. Yeah, and to not only say we just don't have the engineering bandwidth, it's we have it, we just don't agree with the terms of service. That's a huge stance. So I found that interesting. Like I said, I got the first alert today. It's kind of an interesting first experience, though. You install it, and it has hey, now share this with your friends, which I'm fine with. I mean, it's EFF. You should be sharing their information. But it was actually ticked as a 1-star review on Android because of that. To make me use the app, you have to share it, and it's no, you don't actually have to,
but I can understand where that person's like confused at. But at the same time, like should be shared. If you care about your liberties on the interwebs.
I agree. I mean, they basically are a great watch group for some of the stuff that a lot of us don't want to, or don't have time to, aren't cooked into, not easy to, whatever. Again, like a lot of these SOPA bill type things that kind of threaten the fabric of the internet, they're one of the first responders to that sort of stuff. So it's great to see a good watchdog service that they offer. It's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's it. Go download it if you have an Android device.
Very cool. And we'll probably put that URL up so you can check it out.
Yep. Absolutely.
So on my list, the next thing to do is the Google Ara. Have you heard of this project, T-Rave?
I did, and when you text me or you shared it with me that they just put out the first prototype, whatever, you spelled it wrong, and I was like, what? Is that like the next Android version? And then I'll let you go into what the project is actually about.
Yeah, so Google Ara, this is something that came out, it's been a concept for a couple years. It initially started out as phone blocks. And I believe it was a DARPA project actually at one point in its development. So basically, what it is, and I can show you guys here. Let's do a screen share. All right. This is from The Verge, who had one of the cool exclusives looking at the project. This is what it is. It's essentially a modular phone. So, similar to the way that we see PCs, you have the ability to hot swap kind of individual components on the phone. So if you want a better camera, you can do that. Maybe you want a better processor, more RAM, that sort of thing. In some ways, it's a very, it's a dream. You don't have, crack a screen or whatever. You can just replace it. Better speakers, whatever. So it's a very interesting concept, and certainly at a scientific level, at a physics level, it's a very interesting concept. It looks like they have some cool things that you can actually design it out. They're looking for adoption for, I believe they say, the 6 billion people who, certainly people who have not had a phone before. So this is also part of their larger initiative in getting phones in people's hands across the world. And I think it's a really neat concept. Looks like it'll be rolling out to Puerto Rico first, and then I think the U.S. launch is sometime this time next year, 2016. And it's certainly been a project that I've been looking at for the last few years with anticipation, and I really, really like the concept in general. So we'll put up the Verge article here as well. They have a great video that kind of steps through it and talks with a lot of the Ara team and what they're doing. I think they have only had 2 years that they can take to make this. It's actually it's a very hastened project, and they have to test it kind of under fire, I guess.
Yeah, and it's really cool from like hearing about it and then like not hearing about it for a while and then be like, we're ready to have a prototype. And what's interesting, and you mentioned this, going after the other segments of the world that may not have smartphones. Lends hand to, I don't know if you heard recently, but Windows. Microsoft bought Nokia. Or is part of it, kind of like how Google has Motorola, and they're going after that market as well. Yeah. Oh, okay. Nokia, they're building Nokias for the other people, which is an interesting approach of that. I found that same kind of vein for both of those.
Everyone's going for this
to get more connected.
Yeah, everyone's going for this, the third world, infrastructure, everything. I mean, the rest of the world is starting to get these devices, and, there's a huge run towards being the first to deliver that stuff. It's a brand new market.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Absolutely, and very, very cool.
Okay, so what else do you have, T-Rave?
Yeah. Moving on. I know we kind of, last week in our pilot episode, we had our love affair moment with Elon Musk, or the Tony Stark of our generation, if you will. But I figured this. It's Elon Musk's project, but it's cool, and we'll expand upon it outside of what he's doing. But the Hyperloop. So they announced this just as like kind of a concept, or he kind of put it out there. I believe the original thought was LA to San Francisco, basically a high-speed transportation device for civilians to get between places. And basically he came out, I believe today, saying like we're gonna do this. They're gonna be testing. He said likely Texas. So for what that's worth, nothing set in stone. But with this you can get between two cities very quickly. Definitely in commuter communities, it makes a lot of sense to get a long distance in a short amount of time. And I know we've had a brief discussion, but my dream one day is to have a high-speed rail between Omaha and Kansas City. As much as I visit,
of course,
but then, of course, benefiting me.
It's just for Blown Pixel, actually.
It's just for Blown Pixel. But this technology, Elon Musk is going after some of those big dream ideas. This is part of it to better technology as well as transportation. Down the line, we're going to be seeing more vehicles that are electric, as well as trying to get communities into better public transportation. And this can get you between two cities, enabling the workforce, to grow in different areas, kind of looking at a Detroit situation. Economy is not great, but if you can get to another city very quickly, at a low cost, then it's worth investing in for both communities.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting paradigm, right? If you could live in one city and then just commute to the other one, I think the top speed of these things is like 750 miles per hour or something. I mean, it solves that kind of middle ground between the plane and the car that is kind of the awkward point. There's an opportunity there. I think they're awesome. They're like cushioned bullet trains and tubes, right? It sounds amazing to me.
Yeah. So his original tweet was, we'll be building a Hyperloop test track for companies and student teams to test out their pods, most likely in Texas, with a follow-up tweet, which this is why we love Elon Musk. Also thinking of having an annual student Hyperloop pod race competition.
Pod racing?
Yes, pod racing. So like Formula
episode 1 was finally worth something, just to get a little bit of vocabulary out of it.
Absolutely. So, I'm excited to see where that goes. Just as, again, I think we're both fans of transportation, definitely at a city and community level. Very excited about
Super
that.
Exciting. Okay, so it's time for some show and tell. Again, I don't think I can top the sleeping bag, but I can try. Poorly, I suppose. So what I want to show off is something I found all across the internet, but on Gizmodo, on Sploid actually, and it is a nifty concept that reimagines, I guess, the original iMac. Very cool. It's like an Apple IIe kind of situation. I don't need this cool Macintosh new, but bloody hell, I want it so badly. Look at this thing. It's amazing. What do you think, T-Rave? Do you think you would get one of these things?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
It's amazing. I mean, it's got like this little USB stick in there, an SD card. It looks essentially like an iPad with kind of an extended stand. And it's great. Yeah.
No, when you shared this, I was just like, done.
It's sexy.
I want it now.
Would you? How much Oregon Trail? Is this like a dedicated Oregon Trail machine for you? Because that's what I think it is. I think that's what it is for me.
Yeah, if you're not doing that, you're doing something very, very, very wrong.
I have no idea what something like that would cost. I assume it's the cost of like an iPad, like $500 or something, if it was actually.
See,
new.
I thought of it. I was kind of even going further and thinking like at $1,200 I would maybe consider it,
Yeah.
but I'm an idiot, so that's how that one works.
Outside of Oregon Trail, I mean, what would you use that thing for? I mean, what were the other applications of the day that were impressive? I guess they had some Excel thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
So just Oregon Trail. It's essentially we'll do a $1,200 Oregon Trail machine, and I'm okay with that. I think I learned some like Visual Basic or something on. I made cats out of ASCII code. I think with mine.
Yeah, I fond days of Oregon Trail and Number Munchers I think was on there. I don't know.
Number Munchers.
But I do remember learning charts inside of Excel or whatever it was. I think it was I don't know.
Yeah, whatever the Mac equivalent version in grayscale was at the time.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your show and tell thing?
So this is the Facebook page Spaghettitoes, which is actually the guy that makes these is the art director.
Make believe in clowns, but I like penguins.
Basically, Spaghettitoes, the guy that makes these posters and actually a book is an art director here in Omaha, Nebraska. And I guess I could have talked about this at the beginning, but basically he blew up on like the social channels as well as Huffington Post and all these other like Reddit. I think he was like top Reddit, but basically he takes what his daughter says and puts it like in art form, and so they're hilarious. And if you go through it, the apple juice is doomed. And it's just like a little box apple juice with like hands coming after it, and it's just like she's just a hilarious little girl with comedic timing. So
it's very much like Axe Cop.
Yeah, and so like this poster is no casting spells on the dogs unless you're 10 feet away, and so
it's a good. It's like rule system in here that I would love to be privy to.
Yeah. So she says hilarious things, and I want some of these posters, but they're so back-ordered. And, like, I don't think the guy was, expecting a big boom in traffic, but completely sold out. And everything's back-ordered. I want the penguin one so freaking much, because it mentions, like, Darth Vader and penguins and everything of all other sorts. But, yeah, I want one of those, so if someone wants to buy me a birthday gift at some point, they'll probably be in stock by November, hopefully.
That's amazing. I mean, good for her. She's an entrepreneur, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, her dad is.
Indirectly,
but,
maybe. She's at least a partner. Have some equity.
She's like a COO. Yeah. She's,
You think this is her first startup?
Exactly, and she doesn't even know what she has.
No,
it's gold. It's pure gold.
She doesn't. She'll sell it for pennies. I swear.
So yeah, that's kind of the show and tell I have.
Very nice. All right, so that is kind of. I think we're about to wrap it up. So the way that we're going to do this is the video portion. I suppose, is going to get truncated around the 25 to 30 minute mark on a regular basis. So that's coming up here in a couple minutes. So we're going to cut it off. And
where are we at right now? Let's just say, I haven't had a clock in front of me. You have.
Okay, so we are at 26 minutes. All right.
Okay.
We've been
so we're a little over,
we've been doing, 30 minutes. Between 24, 30 minutes, I think we're good.
All right.
I'm happy if we can pull that off.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll have some social accounts for you to follow, as well as a website and all that good business, as well as all the links we talked about will be below or somewhere in the intersphere of webs for you to check out directly. So thanks for watching / listening to Blown Pixel, episode 1 or 2.
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
Awesome. All right, see you guys.
Please hang up and try again.